Hello again. I'm Katrina, the advisor, coming back to you with more tax and financial tips. Today, I'm going to be talking about, can all of your debt be canceled by just simply filing Form 1099-C? I think we've been hearing that everywhere, but let's talk about if that's true or not. Let's go. Well, again, I'm Katrina, the advisor, coming back to you with this tax tip today. I keep seeing everywhere that you can cancel all of your debt by just simply filing a Form 1099-C. So I wanted to talk to you about what's true versus fact with that. 1099-C, and I had a whole script written out and all of that stuff, but I'm not good with scripts. I'm not good with memorizing lines and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to talk to you just very bluntly, and I'm going to talk about three myths that this is truly that I hear and I've seen everywhere. But I want to tell you what the truth is behind this, because a lot of times I see a lot of fiction out there, I won't say fiction, a lot of false narratives out there about about tax and financial strategies and things like that. And some are true and then some are half true. So 1099, let's talk about the 1099-C today. So can you cancel all of your debt with the 1099-C by filing a Form 1099-C? And the answer is simply no, you cannot. What the Form 1099-C is for canceling a lender canceling a debt that you owe to them. So let's say, for example, you owe a credit card company $5,000 and they just realize they're writing it off their books. They're writing it off their books and they're canceling that debt to you. So they'll send you a Form 1099-C saying, hey, you owe us $5,000. We're going to forgive it. But it's truly not forgiven. It's forgiven on their behalf to you, but they're sending you this form, and they're also going to send the IRS this form, because now you need to file that form with your taxes for whatever year they're forgiving you for. Let's say you received a 1099-C for 2024. Then the expectation is that you file that with your taxes this year, because you're going to want to apply, that's going to be applied as income to you. So how this works, I want to just, and I'm going to have my assistant do this in visuals for you. But how this works is a corporation, typically they build their business out on accrual, right? So they'll recognize income as soon as they pay it out, as soon as they assign it to you. So let's say they've given you $5,000 worth of credit. They apply that as income, right? So in order for them to write that off their books and realize that it's not really truly income, they need to write it off. The way that they're writing that off is not to just write it off as an expense. They need to document that process and have a paper trail that goes with that. That paper trail is that 1099-C. Hey, we're canceling this debt. We can't collect on this money, so we're not going to treat this as income to us anymore. But it gets pushed off to who? You, the consumer, who says, now it's back in your court. Now you have to apply that as income on your tax return. That's truly what the 1099-C is. It's a cancellation of debt to that lender, not to you. Now, if you file a 1099-C on your own behalf and send that into the IRS, it will not be recognized, because you're not a lender and you can't write your own debts to yourself off. Got it? So I'm going to talk about three myths, and one I just dispelled right there, right? But let's talk about three myths that I've heard out here, and I know that it's been populated around these internet streets, and I just want to make sure that you have the right information, that you're armed with facts, right? So myth number one, you can file a 1099-C to cancel debt yourself. You cannot. Like I said, if you send a 1099-C to the IRS, it will not be recognized. And you're going to open yourself up for an audit, possibly. Red flags, right? Don't do that. Number two, all debt can be canceled this way. Not all debt can be canceled this way. I'll talk to you about how three ways that debt can be canceled, but not all debt can be canceled this way. Specifically, mortgages and car loans, lenders have to submit that form to you that they're no longer going to try to recover that debt themselves. They're just writing it off. And writing it off means, here's your cancellation of debt. You supply this with your tax return. And here's what happens. When they send you that form, like I said, they're sending it to the IRS as well. Similar to the same way you receive your W-2. When you get your W-2, the IRS gets a copy of your W-2. And then when they go through and review your return, they match what they have versus what you've provided them. If something's missing, that's when you get a letter later down the line that says, hey, all income wasn't submitted. We've recalculated this, and this is what your new tax liability is, or this is what your new refund is. So let's say you had a cancellation of debt form that you didn't apply to your tax return, and you got this refund. Let's say the debt was $10,000 and it was not applied, and you didn't put it on your tax return. Then you've gotten this refund. Once the IRS does their recalculation, you may owe part of that refund or all of that refund back because that was additional income that wasn't taxed, that was taxable to you. So be very mindful about making sure that you get all your tax forms and that you apply them. Just because you decide to hold it back doesn't mean that the IRS is going to hold it back when they go back and do their review. And when they do their review, it's not because they've submitted your refund. They go back after the fact and checked, right? So you won't get a letter till sometimes months down the line or even sometimes years down the line when they go back and review everything. Okay, so that's myth number 2. Cancel debt is always tax-free. Not true. And myth number 3 is all debt, canceled debt is always tax free. That's myth number 3. So, number 1, can you file a 1099-C yourself? No. Now, number 2 is all debts can be canceled this way. False. And number 3, canceled debt is always tax free. Not true as well. So, 3 ways that it can be tax free. Let's talk about that. So, if you file bankruptcy, if all your debt is just discharged through a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, then yes, that cancellation of debt, you should not receive that form because it's been that debt's been dissolved by the government and you should not be taxed on that income. So if you've got a Chapter 7 and that debt was included, you should not be getting any additional forms from those lenders, right? So if you've got a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, that's been where everything's been, all debt's been resolved, then yes, that's not taxable to you, right? Insolvency. Insolvency is when all your total debts are greater than your assets and it's canceled. So then in that instance, then yes, that would be tax-free to you, non-taxable to you. And then finally, if your mortgage does a mortgage forgiveness, then you should not receive a 1099-C in those instances. But here's the 3 things that I want you to make sure that you do if you do receive a 1099-C. Make sure that it's accurate. If a lender is writing off more than you owe them, then you need to dispute that. If they're saying you owe them $10,000 and you only owe them $4,000, you need to dispute it. You should not be including more income than you actually owed out. So make sure that you dispute that. And determine if it's taxable. If you qualify for certain exemptions, make sure that aligns. If you filed a Chapter 7 and it was discharged, then that debt should be discharged. You should not be getting a 1099-C in those instances, or Chapter 13 as well. And then finally, talk to a tax professional on this. Do not try to solve this on your own. You see how much false information is out there. Make sure that you talk to somebody who's licensed professional who can assist you in this properly, and make sure that you avoid any IRS issues. Again, I hope this has been helpful to you. I want to make sure that I reiterate that the 1099-C does not cancel debt to you. It does not cancel debt to you. It cancels debt for the lender, and it can become taxable income to you. And make sure that when you do receive that form, that you do provide it on your income tax returns. Again, I am Katrina, the advisor. I hope this was helpful information to you. If it was, please hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on this or if you've had any experience with this as well. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll be seeing you on the next live and next video. And if you have any questions and you'd like to book a chat with me and my team, hit the link in the description, and we'll be looking forward to speaking with you. Have a great day until I see you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.